Destination Medical Center approved its budget to improve downtown Rochester. I'm KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy, live with how much is being put back into the community.
Plus, get the dredge out. With the fourth year of dredging complete on Fountain Lake in Albert Lea, crews today removed the equipment that has collected over 300,000 cubic yards of sediment this year. Aaron?
Thanks, George. Well, most of us dodged the rain for today, but I'm tracking chances of showers and storms coming in for tonight into tomorrow. A look at what to expect is coming up.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3 at 5.
And thanks so much for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 5. I'm George Mallet.
And I'm Amy Fleming. First tonight, Destination Medical Center is taking steps to ensure Rochester continues to improve in 2022.
Yeah, the DMC Board of Directors approved its capital budget today. KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy joins us live in Rochester with a look at that budget. Jessica.
George and Amy, the capital budget includes more than $30 million in improvements to downtown Rochester. That includes continued investment in the Chateau Theater, improving sidewalks, as well as upgrading necessary infrastructure. Discovery Walk is also included in the budget. The 4-block linear park that connects the Gonda building to Soldiers Field is moving closer to construction. The project, budgeted for $16.8 million, will start construction in the spring pending City Council approval.
Much of the project cost is really underground of that $16.8 million. It came in at, the bids came in at, I think, roughly $15.5 million. So we were pleasantly surprised that those bids came in under budget. We are adding now two other things, the snow melt and these community structures, however.
The budget now heads over to the Rochester City Council in October for its consideration and potential approval. Live in Rochester, Jessica Bringy, KIMT News 3.
Thanks, Jessica. The Rapid Transit Implementation Project is also included in the DMC budget.
Its goal is to provide high-quality public transit for the community downtown.
Time now for a weather update.
And for that, let's check in with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. Aaron, what are you tracking on this nice afternoon?
Hey there, George and Amy. I'm tracking more of the nice weather to continue as we go through this evening, as well as our temperatures are going to stay on the warm side, only dropping down into the mid to upper 70s as we go through the next few hours. But we have been tracking a couple showers trying to develop there south of Mason City. A lot of them are falling apart, and the bulk of the rain has been to our west throughout the day today. We saw some pretty widespread rainfall around Fairmont, west of Mankato, all west of I-35, but now we're starting to see some more developing showers there west of Interstate 35, and some of that will try to move in for tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, temperatures today have been warm, well into the 80s, 83 now in Mason City, 82 in Austin, 84 in Osage, and 81 in Rochester. Taking a live look at Austin, showing sunshine at 82. Got sunshine at 81 in Rochester, but I'm tracking those showers and storms for tomorrow, even possibly into Saturday. A full check of what to expect for the weekend is coming up here in just a bit. Amy?
Sounds good. Thank you, Aaron. Happening just this afternoon, lawmakers passed a stopgap funding bill that will, quote, provide funding to help process and resettle Afghan refugees and finally deliver on critical disaster aid for Americans battered by storms and wildfires this summer to avoid a government shutdown at midnight. Chris Wynn has the latest from the nation's capital.
We hope that this can be a strongly bipartisan bill.
With the midnight deadline looming, Congress voting on a stopgap bill that would keep the government open, funding federal agencies through December 3rd, with Republicans on board in the Senate.
On government funding, what Republicans laid out all along was a clean, continuing resolution without the poison pill of a debt limit increase. That's exactly what we'll pass today.
That continuing resolution then heading over to the House.
We're on a path to win the vote. I don't want to even consider any options other than that.
As the clock ticks, President Biden's larger and more ambitious domestic agenda remains in limbo. The Democratic-controlled House remains divided with moderates and progressives in a standoff. Despite this, Speaker Pelosi is standing firm, saying she'll hold a vote on the separate bipartisan infrastructure bill today.
I do not plan on not doing anything. I plan on moving forward in a positive way.
Two moderate senators, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, holding the key to passage, with Manchin now saying he told President Biden he would agree to a $1.5 trillion deal, far below the $3.5 trillion proposed.
I'm willing to sit down and work through that 1.5 to get our priorities, and they can come back and do later, and they can run on the rest of it later.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Closer to home, we've got some developing news out of Iowa. Our sister station, KCCI, getting a tip that the remains of the missing 10-year-old Xavier Harrelson have been found near Montezuma, Iowa. We need to point out, this is what is being reported to KCCI. It is unconfirmed at this hour. KCCI, though, is reporting that the Iowa State Patrol, as you can see, Poweshiek County Emergency Management and state medical examiners are all on scene here. Stay with KIMT News 3 for continued updates on this developing story. Well, things probably look a little different out on Albert Lee's Fountain Lake this evening because the big honkin' dredge that has been pumping sediment out of the popular lake was removed after a fourth year of dredging there. These are actually older pictures from the lake, but suffice it to say the big dredge mounted on a floating barge is gone. The dredging is a necessary task to keep the lake clear for boaters. This year, roughly 300,000 cubic yards of sediment was removed from the lake. The Minnesota Department of Health reporting 2,874 new COVID-19 cases and 13 more deaths. That brings the state's total positive case number to 711,094 and the death toll to 8,153 since this pandemic began. The state's daily average of new positive cases reached numbers it hasn't seen since December of last year. The state's positivity rate remains at 6.7%. 72,221 vaccine booster shots have been administered now to Minnesotans. The Iowa Department of Public Health is reporting 9,707 new cases and 81 more COVID deaths. Those deaths happening between August 8th and September 21st, and that brings the state's total positive case number to 488,033 and the death toll to 6,563 since the pandemic began. The 14-day positivity rate remains at 9.5%. Data from IDPH also says those under the age of 18 are the largest group of positive tests in the last 7 days, but they are also the lowest number of hospitalizations in the state, accounting for only 3% of total hospitalizations.
Olmsted County Public Health Services announced earlier today they will be offering COVID-19 booster shots. This comes a week after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration issued an emergency authorization of the Pfizer booster vaccine. People 65 and older, anyone 50 to 64 with underlying medical conditions, and anyone 18 to 49 with underlying medical conditions should get the booster shot. OCPHS says it will contact individuals who were originally vaccinated by them based on their eligibility, and they will provide instructions on how to get the booster vaccine. Still to come, authorities are attempting to crack down on a person who robbed a man earlier this morning. We'll have the latest details for you in a moment.
And later in the broadcast, the search for Brian Laundrie continues, the plea from the attorney representing Gabby Petito's family.
KIMT News 3 at 5. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Amy Fleming and George Mallet. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. This is KIMT News 3. More local news that is happening now from your community. We are coverage you can count on.